MMA Locker Room here, Mills Young, part of Tony Picks, and we're about to go over UFC 311, and we're about to go over the overs and unders round by round and see which fights finish by the numbers. Now look, I'm going to give you guys my exclusive picks on each fight and see if they're going to be going the distance or if they're going to finish. Now, some of these, you guys are going to have the over 2.5 and you're going to have the under 2.5. And then, of course, you always got the fight going the distance odds as well, right? So we're going to be dialing in on those because that's what this show is basically all about. Also, throughout this, I do give you guys picks and leans on who I'm leaning on to win the fight. If you guys want more exclusive picks like that, just head on over to the Tony Picks Premium, and that's where you can get exactly where I'm betting at, who I'm betting on, who's my premium, and who do I really got my money on. And if you guys want more exclusive details, check out my UFC Bet With Me video over there at Pick Dogs as well. And you know, you guys can watch that as well after you guys get some money on this one. First off, let's talk about the first fight of the night, okay? We got Tagir and Ulanbekov taking on Clayton Carpenter. Tagir Ulanbekov's a minus 325 favorite. They got the over 2.5 at a minus 270. Under 2.5 is going to be plus 200. And here, his opponent, Clayton Carpenter's a good fighter, 8-0. I like him in this spot, actually, man. I think this is one to where you can put some little bit of money on the underdog and see what happens, man. Tagir Ulanbekov's part of the Nurmagomedov family camp training with him and everything, but he's not as good as all those other fighters in here. The over and under is set at 2.5. I do think it gets there, but the finish upside, I do think Tagir Ulanbekov might be able to win by submission because Clayton Carpenter puts his neck in dangerous positions. Overall, I think this is going over. I do think this one goes over, and you know, this is one to where I can say the fight's going to go the distance. Second fight taking place, we got Turcios taking on Bernardo Sopaj. Bernardo Sopaj, a big favorite, minus 350 on the books. This fight was supposed to take place already last year, and they saved it on to this card. The over and under, let's talk about that. The over 2.5 is at a minus 200. The under 2.5 is at a plus 154. I like the over 2.5 in this fight, definitely. And I do want to say that Bernardo Sopaj has been bet up from his original price that he opened up at. Turcios is going to be a game fighter as his fight goes. And if Bernardo Sopaj does slow down in those late rounds, I could see maybe Turcios looking good in that late second round and having a strong third round as well. I like Bernardo Sopaj to win, and I like this to go over as well. Third fight on the fight card, we got Rinya Nakamura taking on Muin Gafurov. And Rinya Nakamura is up to a minus 550 favorite. Sat around like minus 425 on the books. Got all the way bet up to a minus 500 now. The over and the under 2.5 is going to be at a minus 200 as well. And the under is going to be at plus 154. Rinya Nakamura, he's one of those fighters that you don't really see from Japan that has that wrestling pedigree like him. Muin Gafurov, he's a fighter that fought in the One Championship promotion before. He's fighting in the UFC, and he likes to go for wrestles and takedowns too, but he has power in his hands, and he likes to strike. Power in his hand is Rinya Nakamura as well. That wrestling is just in his back pocket. He's going out there trying to knock people out on the feet and entertain, right? So with that being said, Nakamura's going to get the win, and I do think, man, this is one to where I see over 2.5 too, just because I see these guys kind of going back and forth, wrestling each other, clinching up against the cage. You get a takedown, you try to take me down and see what happens, you know, if the striking gets a little bit too dangerous on the feet. Next fight taking place, we got Rosa taking on Ailin Perez. Rosa is going to be the favorite in this one. Minus 250 on the books. The comeback on the dog is plus 205. The over 2.5 is at a minus 500. The under 2.5 is at a plus 340. Whenever we're talking about women fights, people, the over is always going to be chalked. In this one, I think it's chalked for a reason. I think it goes over, and I like the dog in this one. Yeah, I think the dog, Ailin Perez, gets it done. Next fight taking place, Dawson, minus 245, taking on Diego Ferreira at a plus 200. The over 2.5 is at a minus 130. The under 2.5 is at a plus 100. And here, money's coming in on the underdog. The reason why is because he has power in his hands when he's out there striking. And Dawson, if this stays on the feet, and if he just gets caught a couple of times, man, Diego Ferreira has been able to put the lights out on multiple fighters. Dawson, he's been knocked out once, so people think he's chinny and stuff. I don't. I think the wrestling's going to be on Dawson's game plan in mind. I think this gets the over as well. Next fight taking place, we got Zachary Reese taking on Azamat Bekoev. this fight just got put together on short notice. It was supposed to be Cedricus Dumas taking on that fight. And he had to pull out. In comes new opponent. But this new opponent, he's been on the LFA roster for a minute now. He defended the championship at least 3 times. So, you know, he has that pedigree experience. And he trains at American Top Team as well. But this is the thing. He's taking on an opponent. And usually when they do that on short notice, the favorite is always going to be the guy on the card. But now, the guy on short notice is the favorite. I like the underdog in this one. Give me Zachary Reese, man. I think that he's going to be able to go out here and, you know, just push the game plan for 15 minutes on an opponent that's taking this on short notice. Next fight taking place, we got Jailton Almeida taking on Serghei Spivac. Jailton Almeida's a -470 favorite. The over 1.5's at a -105. The under 1.5's at a -125. I'm scared on this one. Jailton Almeida has that finish ability. He finishes a lot of opponents in the first round. But then again, if this gets to the over 1.5, then you got to be looking at Serghei Spivac. Maybe what is he doing? You know, maybe he's getting his wrestling in here, holding Almeida down as well. Honestly, I got to go with the under. I don't know if it's going under 1.5. I know this fight ain't going the distance, so that'll be my way. And I like Almeida to get it done by submission. All right, next fight taking place. Payton Talbott -1,000 on the book, taking Raoni Barcelos. The over 1.5's at a -160. The under 1.5's at a +124. And here, I think Payton Talbott comes out here, man, puts on the show in the first or second round. He has that finish ability in him, and he's been as advertised. He's the new generation of MMA. And also, if this gets to the later round, you know, I can still see him finishing him in the 3rd round. So I'm going to say fight not going the distance for sure. And I like Payton Talbott to win by KO. Next fight taking place, another one on short notice. Bogdan Guskov, -340, taking on Billy Alakina, +275. I like Bogdan to get it done, but you can't trust him at a -340 favorite. He's a guy that goes out there, keeps his hands down, and just tries to punch you. His opponent's taking this fight on short notice, and he's nothing too dangerous before. I've seen some of his fights in this tape study. But in here, there's still nothing I trust to just say, yeah, pile up on a -340 favorite. But I do think Guskov wins, and this one ain't going the distance at all. All right, going through the overs and unders. Giving you guys my fight predictions on the rounds and the numbers, how to bet if it's going to finish or go the distance. And then, hey, man, you guys can listen and see which way I'm going and which way I'm betting. All right, next fight taking place. Kevin Holland taking on Reinier de Ridder. This was going to be a good one. Kevin Holland's going to be the slight underdog in here. They got the over 1.5 at a -180. +140 for the under 1.5. And here, I just think the fight ain't going the distance. I think both these guys got good price tags on them. And both of them got finish ability. Reinier de Ridder is dangerous with the submissions and grappling, and Kevin Holland can knock out anybody on the feet. And if this stays on the feet, de Ridder could get knocked out. If this goes to the ground, I definitely see Kevin Holland getting subbed. With that, I don't like this fight to go the distance. And give me the newcomer in this one, man. I think he goes out there, and I think there's a reason why they brought him to the UFC, and a reason why they gave him Kevin Holland. They had MVP Michael Venom Page from Bellator, brought him over, gave him to Kevin Holland. They got Reinier de Ridder from one championship, brought him over. Let's give him to Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland's coming back off of an injury to where he hurt his rib in his last time out and took this fight on short notice. I think Reinier de Ridder gets it done as well. Next fight taking place. Beneil Dariush taking on Renato Marcano. All right, Beneil Dariush is the underdog, +136. And Marcano is a -160. They got the over 2.5 at a -105. The under 2.5 at a +125. I think this one's going under, folks. I don't think this one's going the distance. I think both these guys will be a little bit cautious in that first round. But in that second round, I think it's going to heat up and these guys are going to throw. And I don't think it's going to that 3rd round. So with that being said, give me fight not going the distance in here. And I like the dog, man. I think Beneil Dariush is just overall has better skills than Renato Marcano. I could be wrong with this, but I do think that he doesn't look good in his last couple of fights, Beneil Dariush, compared to the confidence of Renato Marcano. It'd be hard to not bet on Marcano. But then again, I just got to look at it, and I'm like, okay, the people that Beneil Dariush lost to are good fighters that could have beat Marcano. But the way that he lost to him, he got knocked out, like, easy. So I do think it is a path for this fight not to go the distance. That would be the safer bet in here. But I like the dog to get it done. I've been going back and forth too, man. So one time I thought I was going Marcano, but you know, as we get closer and stuff, I can see Bernardo, winning by knockout as well. All right, next fight taking place. We got a good one. Yuri Prochazka taking on Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill's a -130 on the books. They got the over 1.5 out of -150. Under 1.5 out of +124. I don't think this one's going the distance. Definitely. And I think both these guys have a path to victory on here. So it's hard to really give you an invested pick, but I do like Jamahal Hill in there. I do think he's gonna have the striking ability. His defense is solid as well. Yuri Prochazka, he doesn't have the solid defense that Jamahal Hill does. Jamahal Hill puts up a lot of volume as well. Give me Jamahal Hill to win by KO. Get it done round 2. Next fight taking place. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Umar Nurmagomedov, the champion. Merab Dvalishvili, that is. Defending his belt for the first time. Umar Nurmagomedov -270 on the books. The over 4.5 is at a -280. I think this one goes the distance, and I think Merab Dvalishvili is getting disrespected. Going back and forth on this, Umar Nurmagomedov hasn't fought anybody like Merab Dvalishvili. But Merab Dvalishvili does struggle when he fought against wrestlers like Cody Stamann that could take him down. But Umar Nurmagomedov could strike and do takedowns. Merab Dvalishvili is just that good. I cannot say that I got to be taking a shot on Merab in there. I always bet on him as a favorite. I got to take a shot on him as a dog. +220. Isn't this champion? All right, if he loses, hey, it is what it is. We had a good run. Haven't lost in, the last 6 fights with him, I think. Probably even longer than that. All right, next fight taking place. Championship time. Islam Makhachev taking on Arman Tsarukyan. Islam Makhachev -310 on the books. The over 4.5 is at a -180. The under 4.5 is at a +140. So in this one, I definitely think it goes the over in here. And I think the line is a little bit off. I think that Arman Tsarukyan's a way better fighter than what this line implements. I bet on Islam Makhachev plenty of times as a favorite. In here, I've never been able to bet on Arman Tsarukyan as an underdog. So look. I'm just saying it. These odds are just crazy. I do think Islam Makhachev has a path to victory and can win. And if anybody finishes anybody, it's gonna probably be Islam. But both these guys fought already. It was a rematch, and I think I think Islam can finish him. But I'm gonna be betting on the dog on here. Both these dogs in the last co-main event, the main event. They're definitely putting a splash on instead of trying to parlay a -3 to 1 favorite with two fighters and barely get back even money. You know what I mean? I'd rather just put a little bit of quarter unit on these dogs or half unit and see what happens. All right, man. MMA locker room here with Tony Picks. If you guys want the more exclusive bets on who I'm betting on, pick by pick, you know what to do. Check out my UFC fight picks on here. We put them up every single week. I give you guys 3 picks for $30. What's better than that? All right. Besides that, hit the like, hit the subscribe so you know when we go live. MMA locker room here, going over the overs and unders for UFC fights by the numbers. See you guys next week.